We're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
And we're currently on a 5-week RV road trip around the Rocky Mountains of the United States. And we thought we'd take this opportunity to take you through the differences between American campsites and European campsites.
Regular viewers of our channel will know that we absolutely love travelling. We have a VW campervan in the UK and we travel throughout Europe and the UK, whether it's summer or winter.
But we're currently on a 5-week road trip around the Rocky Mountains in the US in a rental RV that is about as far away from Nelson our campervan as you can get. It's a 25-foot American RV that we think is absolutely massive, but in reality out here, it's still pretty tiny.
And staying on the different campsites that we have done so far on our tour of the Rocky Mountains, we've realised just how differently the campsites are set up as well. They are set up for these huge RVs and it just blows our mind, the differences.
It couldn't be further away from UK and European camping than you could get. But we're going to take you around the site we're on today, which is a site in Buffalo, Wyoming. And it is a cracker. It is probably one of the best set up campsites I've ever been on. It's incredible. But have a look. This is our own little standard pitch. It's a back-in pitch. It does have electricity, it does have sewer, and it does have water included.
How cool is this pitch? This is their super deluxe pitch that gives you a patio, it's got a Weber barbecue, it's got a proper dining room table, and some really comfy chairs as well. It does come at a cost though.
So this is a different type of luxury pitch in the fact that it's a pull-through, so you don't actually have to reverse in. So when you've got your massive rig, you can drive in and then drive straight back out. So this is the super deluxe suite, which has got like its own private yard that we talked about. It's incredible. You just pull your van in down here and you've got your own little party central. Like a lot of US campsites, they've got designated exercise areas for dogs, which keeps dogs separate from the site. So very rarely will you see dogs running around the site, but they've got their own little play areas to play in.
So before we've even arrived at the campsite, we've had so many decisions that we need to make. When you book online, you have to decide whether you want a pull-through pitch or a back-in pitch. You have to say what amp electricity you need. The choice is here, 30 or 50 amps. In Europe, we may be lucky if we get between 6 and 12 amps. You have to say what size your RV is. You have to decide whether you need parking next to it for the great big Jeeps that all these big American RVs pull through with them. It's just mind-boggling.
And so is the pricing structure. And we've been quite shocked in America as to the cost that these campsites can run to. They are very polished. And as Jackie says, they've got loads of facilities and services on offer, but it comes at a price. The most expensive campsites can be up to $120 a night, and the cheapest campsite, which didn't have any services at all, was right down to $30 a night. We briefly mentioned the electricity options, and we've not seen anything quite like it in the UK or Europe because people don't have such a demand in Europe and the UK for electricity, whereas out here a lot of the units are at least having one air conditioning unit, and some of the bigger RVs have 3 air conditioning units. So you have a 20 amp option, a 30 amp option, or a 50 amp option. We run 30 at the moment, and we're not quite sure why we need that, but they always seem to put us on a 30 amp option. We never use the aircon because of the time of year. But the difference between the various RVs that are on site and the power demand for those is quite incredible.
The next thing doesn't affect us in Europe either way, because we don't have any onboard facilities in our tiny little campervan Nelson. But in the US, they don't have cassettes that go in with their sewage system. They have a really disgusting hose that you have to get out every time you stop and plug it into I don't know, what do you call it, Rich?
Sewage system?
A sewage system, yeah. But yeah, you have to sort out this hose and connect it in. But then you do have it connected permanently until you leave.
On a positive note, I suppose the toilet system in the RV just runs off fresh water, so it hasn't got any of the nasty chemicals that the cassette toilets have in, but it's not something that I particularly look forward to, doing the black water tank. It is part of the culture out here, and I just don't think you would find a campsite in America that doesn't have sewage hookup.
I don't think you'd find an RV in America that had cassettes either.
Another addition that every campsite pitch seems to have is shore water, which means that you connect your RV via a hose up to the mains water. It means that you're not draining water from your tanks, and every time you run any taps in the van, it just comes straight from the mains. It's actually quite handy, and it means that you don't need water pumps in the van, and it's just a really easy thing to do when you pull up, is to just connect the electricity and to connect the water.
Fire pits seem to be a big part of the American culture, and every campsite that we've gone to that allows fires will have a really sturdy, huge fire pit right next to your pitch with a picnic bench as well, which has been fab.
The fire pits are a bit of a revelation to me. You know, man loves fire and all of that. They've got grill options. They've given us all sorts of ideas for our garden back home in terms of sunken fire pits and things like that. They're just really impressive, and it is quite nice sitting out with a campfire on an evening.
Probably the biggest thing on these campsites that's absolutely befuddled us is the size of the RVs. They range from a tiny one, which seemingly we are in, the small 25-footers, that are probably like a normal European-sized camper van, to huge 80-foot-long double-decker buses.
All of these massive RVs are seemingly built on what we would call a bus back home, so it's like a coach size. They've got pull-outs. We actually met a lovely couple last night who showed us round inside their RV, and it is quite incredible the space that they have. But they're enormous, and I wouldn't really want to drive them.
One thing we did realise, though, from speaking to different people on the campsites, is a lot of these huge RVs are actually their homes. There's a lot of people, retired, the American retired community, that are on the move, and they will come do travelling in the summer while it's nice, and then they'll find a base for the winter and just stay there.
Another type of camper that you find on the campsites, again, which has just blown our mind, is really, really popular, and it's called a fifth wheeler. Don't know why it's called a fifth wheeler, because it's normally got 6 or 7 wheels, but yeah, fifth wheelers, Jackie?
They are huge. They are just enormous. I think there's one behind us that you could probably see. Words can't even describe them. They're not like English caravans.
And then the last type of camper that's becoming increasingly popular around here, and we're seeing lots of them, are little camping pods that fit on the back of pickup trucks. And I think it's sort of for that outdoor adventure, off-roading type feel.
Yeah. The one thing we did see quite a bit of, though, that was more when we were in the Rocky Mountains, Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons. I think the Sprinter-style vans are becoming more of a cult thing with the younger people in America.
When we're in Europe and the UK, we always judge the standard of a campsite by the quality of the toilet and shower blocks. And in the US, it is no different.
No. So all the campsites that we've stayed on so far actually have had immaculately clean toilets, and we've decided the reason why is because all these huge RVs don't actually use them. So when we pull up in our tiny little Cruise America RV, we go and use the toilet block for the showers. No one else uses them.
People look at us really strange when we're walking across the campsite in the morning with a towel. This is like, what on earth are they doing? They must be British, clearly.
And we have got the onboard facilities actually in our little RV, but it just seems easier to go to the shower block because that's what we do. One thing we have found when we go and book in these different campsites is the staff are just so friendly, and they can't do enough for you, particularly if we haven't booked online and already prepaid. They will try their utmost to find some kind of system that will give us a discount, whether it be at one campsite she went through everything. Are you members of AAA? Are you Uncle Sam? And then she went, oh, and you definitely don't count as old age, you're not over 55. And I said, well, we are retired. And she went, that's it, you can have the discount. And we've found that wherever we go, whether it be we've said we're members of AA, we've seemed to have got a 10% discount.
But it is really difficult, therefore, to try and work out the costing structure. And to be honest, We haven't got a clue what we've paid for. It's just the end figure sort of sounds all right with taxes, so we just pay the bill.
Yeah, we have realised though, it is expensive.
One of the things that we found on all of the campsites that we stayed at is a really good free Wi-Fi system. And for us, when we're traveling, we have got a really good phone package that allows us to roam and things like that. But it's always nice to just hook into Wi-Fi and use a bit of the local data as opposed to using our phones.
I was very excited last night when she said, and we've got full streaming Wi-Fi so you can watch as much TV as you want as well. I was like, yes, happy days. 3 hours of Grey's Anatomy I watched last night.
That's just living in the wild, isn't it?
So we're 2 weeks into our 5-week trip, and so far we have had an absolute blast. The campsites are truly amazing.
We've really enjoyed them. They are just very different to UK and European campsites. No better, no worse, just different. And we're enjoying our time over here.
Yep, we definitely think it's come at a cost though. They are more expensive. Mum is with us for another week, and then we've got 2 weeks travelling on our own. We're going to branch out a little bit, aren't we? We are going to try boondocking a little bit, I think they call it in America.
Yeah, we used to park ups and wild camping in Europe, and we really like that. But it's definitely put us outside our comfort zone, being on a different continent, and we're not quite sure how the land lies. We've chatted to a few locals and to a few fellow RVers about how the land lies, so yeah, we're going to have to be brave and put our big girls and boys pants on and get on with it.
To be fair, the national forests, apparently some of their car parks, I think it's probably set up for fishermen, but you can stay in at some of their car parks and it's free. I think you have to register, so we'll maybe try that first. And Richard's dream is to spend a night on a Walmart car park, because that's a big thing in America, that you can boondock on the Walmart car parks.
So there we go. It's all about making dreams. See you later.
Bye.